I kind of do this with MMA versus like football, where I know less about MMA and UFC DraftKings and betting on it. I know the resources that I like to go to and the people to listen to absorb the information. And I feel like, and then I can run the numbers along with it, but I feel like I'm better at that than me just kind of going to do everything. Do you feel like you may have a better ROI in NASCAR than in football because you're not necessarily overthinking it?
Well, I know I have a better ROI in NASCAR, as weird as that is. Yeah. I don't think that I've ever had a single big takedown in NFL. I've come close a couple times. I'd have to go back through the years, but I really don't think I have. I've had like fourth or fifth place finishes, which, as we know, are not the same as finishing first. Last year, I had multiple takedowns in NASCAR, and that was post-COVID with all the weirdness that was going on there. You mentioned if there's qualifying, there are going to still be races where there isn't qualifying, and we dealt with that last year. So, yeah, I know that for a fact. And maybe you're right here. There is something to kind of just shutting the brain off for a minute and just rolling with what the numbers tell you. I know that subjectivity comes into play, especially with football for me, because I have my takes. They're really strong on certain players, and they can ultimately shape what I do building lineups or season-long fantasy football, or even to a lesser extent with prop betting.
Nick, would you say that Jeff's point about the lead up to a race all week and then it happening, especially like would take like 3-4 hours for a race to happen, you can see a result. Do you think that it is more akin to like DraftKings football and DraftKings PGA in the way that people can actually play it, where it's not an everyday grind, that maybe that's just more appealing to a lot of people?
Oh, absolutely. Especially during the COVID period where as Jeff and you all have mentioned, there isn't qualifying for a lot of these races. There also isn't even practice for a lot of these races. One of the big pieces of data we often use is practice data, where they'll, maybe the day before, 2 days before the race, they'll practice on the track and try to fine tune their cars, and the driver will get used to the track again. They aren't doing that as much now under the COVID pandemic protocols. They're going to have 8 races with practice this year. So that gives you a whole lead up for a whole week to just kind of be like, all right, here's this driver. Let me analyze how he does at this track. I'm not worried about practice speeds. It's not heavy hitting everyday stuff. And you can kind of take it at your own pace throughout the week. And I very much think it's like PGA. You have tracks in NASCAR and you have courses in PGA, and a driver can be really good at a track, or a golfer can be really good at a course, and also the correlated courses and correlated tracks. So it's very much akin to PGA. I will say the one difference is, and Jeff mentioned this, a driver may have really bad equipment. You're not going to find a golfer going out there with like a wooden club or something.
I see you say that, but I remember Vaughn Taylor won Pebble Beach one year where like his clubs didn't show up. He was using like a caddy bag to walk around. He still ended up winning. But yes, the equipment is not going to differ by and large from the very top of the field to the bottom of the field in golf.